understand just why you wanna keep me guessing.
Hi BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm here to do a tag video. You might be thinking, when have you ever done a tag video? And I will leave a link to the very last tag video I posted on my channel up here in the cards. I don't do them very often. And I was tagged by Keely over at A Bibliophile's Journey. I will leave her channel link down below. Please go check her out. She actually got this tag from a booktuber called Lizzie Faye Loves Books, which I've never heard of, and I subscribed to her channel today. She is super sweet. She created this tag, and yeah, I wanted to show some love to a new booktuber. Well, she's not new. She's got about 1,500 subscribers. She's new to me though, so I'm very excited to binge her content. And she made this last year, and it sounded fun. And I haven't done videos for you guys in ages because sicknesses, dog watching, sicknesses, birthday week, sicknesses. I've had so many excuses for not being on BookTube this year that it's pretty pathetic, and I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of hearing me complain. So I'm 38 now. It's a new me. Last week was my birthday. I am no more excuses. I'm gonna roll with the punches. I'm gonna get on with my life. If I miss something, oh well, brush it off, do something else. So, tag videos. I didn't even think that these were being done anymore, but I was tagged today by Keely, so I decided I would, you know, do it as well. This is called the Bookish Boxes and Buzzword tag. Now, when I first heard Bookish Boxes, it confused me. And if you watch Lizzie's video, it also confused her. So I made a little diagram. What she means by Bookish Boxes is a checklist, how you check off boxes. And of course, everybody knows what a buzzword is, a word that excites you. So let's get on with the tag. There are 12 questions total. I will leave the questions down in the description box. Of course, I will leave everyone's channel links. I will leave a link to Lizzie's channel link as well so you can check her out. And the first question on this tag is your go-to genre or favorite type of book. Now, if you are new to my channel, my favorite genre is horror. That is an umbrella term for anything scary, right? We got the macabre, we got gothic, paranormal could be under horror. We have serial killers could be under horror. Thrillers and suspense could be considered horror depending on what scares you. I like scary books in general. Those are my go-to types. Anything that would be a sub-genre of horror would be underneath my umbrella. This is, these are like my raindrops or the strings to my umbrella. I don't know what I was doing with my hands. So there's that. My favorite type of book, any kind of horror. I'm starting to want to pick up weird horror. I know that that is a subgenre, or like experimental horror. I don't know what that means, but if you guys have any recommendations of like strange, weird kinds of horror, let me know down below. I also like creature horror. I did a spider one a few years ago that I really enjoyed called The Crawler, and that was crazy. I just did Cujo last month. That scared me. I know that Erica over at I can never say her channel name. Bookish? No. Ugh. This is Erica's channel name right here. My God. And she just read The Rats by Hubert something Hubert. I want to check that one out. So let me know down below if you know any creature horror as well that I might be interested in. Okay. 2. Retellings you are drawn to. This month's theme is Alice in Wonderland or Mad March because I am drawn to Alice in Wonderland retellings. I'm also drawn to Jane Austen retellings, Edgar Allan Poe retellings, and think that's about it. I really like fairy tale retellings as well. They don't have to be horror based. They could just be like mystery. I'm reading the Nursery Crime books by Jasper Fforde. That's a retelling. I like nursery rhymes or fairy tales, not like princess retellings of like, you know, like Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin. Like I don't want to read any of those kinds of retellings, but Hansel and Gretel or other like Rumpelstiltskin. That one was actually talked about in Keely's video. She said rumpy, which made me laugh because it's just rump, not rumpy. But yeah, we both read that book. Here's the cover if you are interested in knowing what I'm talking about. This is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin when he's little and he finds out that his name is actually longer than Rump, but he doesn't know what the rest of the name means or what the rest of the name is. And in his world, your name tells you what kind of person you're going to be when you grow up. So I thought that was a very cute retelling. I really enjoyed it. I also have Liesl Shirtuff, I think is her last name. She also wrote a Peter Pan one that I have and another one. I can't remember. I'll leave it here if I can find it. Anyways, number 3. Lifestyles or careers of the book characters. I am assuming that when I read a book, what this is asking me is whether or not I like to read books of a lifestyle or a career or something. So I like to read about bookshops because it has to do with books. So that would be a career choice. A librarian would be a career choice. I like reading about traveling, so if there's traveling or survival, those things aren't lifestyles or careers, but it's, I don't know, I guess you could travel as a lifestyle. Like I don't want to read about like super rich kids. Oh, I do like reading about boarding schools. Again, that's kind of a lifestyle if you have to go to a boarding school. Am I making any sense? One of these days I will. All right, number 4, places or settings you are drawn to. I like anything that takes place in the South, so like Louisiana, Alabama, because there's like those like Gothic, like Southern Gothic tales take place in like Southern, like South Carolina, North Carolina, Savannah, which is in Georgia. The Panhandle of Florida, like all of those have like bogs and bayous and like swamps, and those are supposed to be haunted and scary. So I like things that take place down in the South. I also like things that take place in the Appalachians because again, there is mountain folk, and not all mountain folk are scary, but there are scary stories of mountain folk. And I love it if it's taking place in Great Britain, anywhere in Great Britain. So it could be in Wales, in Scotland, in Ireland, in England, that whole entire, you know, those islands right there. I like reading about Great Britain for some reason. And yeah, those would be my 2 choices for places or settings that I like. The next one is number 5, a relationship you enjoy reading about. I enjoy reading about sisters. It always makes me miss my sisters and then I want to cry. I also like reading relationships with just a really tight-knit family. I'm not so much interested in drama. Like that's not my style. Like I don't want to pick up a contemporary, like a woman's contemporary or a chick lit contemporary with a bunch of drama-filled stuff. But if a family is learning to cope with, say, a death or an illness, like cancer or something, and they come together as a family and there's growth and that kind of stuff, I am interested in reading about. I also like reading about like old people, like love stories, but with like old people, because I've always looked at my grandparents as the pinnacle of a relationship. Like, yes, their relationship lasted a really long time. My grandpa passed away 2 years ago. So my grandparents were together for 56 years. 56 years. And they had their ups and downs. They fought a lot, but they loved each other immensely. And yeah, I always strived for that. So in high school, even though it's super like cliche, I guess, because we don't live in that time period anymore, but when I was in high school, I was looking for a husband, and I found my husband in high school, and I knew after I met him that I would marry him someday. And I just wanted that same like strong bond that my grandparents had. And yeah, so reading about older people being together is really nice. Like The Notebook, I watched the movie once, but the ending was so sweet, and I would never read the book, but that's the kind of like relationship I like. So sisters, a strong knit family that, you know, can go the distance, and old lovey-dovey couples. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I want to read. All right. Let's see. Number 6, buzzwords in the title of the book. Asylum would be a buzzword. If asylum or insane or mental hospital or mad or Alice in Wonderland or Jane Austen, Edgar Allan Poe, anything that had like something that sounded like Edgar Allan Poe, like The Raven or Lenore, like those all go, ooh, is that going to be a retelling? Like, I want that. Anything that has death or murder or killings in the title, I want to read. If it's horror based or any of the retellings that I really enjoy, if that's in the title, I will definitely put it on my TBR. Number 7, things on book covers that draw you in. Colorful illustrations draw me in. So here's some pictures. I was standing in the middle, but I should have been standing on the side so I could give you like examples of what I'm talking about. I really like very colorful illustrated book covers. I don't like people on my covers. So if it's like cartoony in nature, I will definitely be drawn in. If there's a cemetery on the cover, if there are birds on the cover, I really like birds. If it looks ominous, like a dark forest, I will be interested in reading it, because then I expect the subject matter to be dark. Yeah. I'm a little shallow when it comes to book covers. So if it's really, really pretty, I will definitely grab it and read the synopsis. And if it sounds like it's going to be a creepy book, I will definitely pick it up. All right, number 8, nonfiction buzzwords, or type of nonfiction that I am drawn to. I have a bunch of nonfiction on my shelves right now, but the majority of them have to do with death. So morgues or cremation or autopsies or medical examiners, the body farm, anything that has to do with death or around death. Like Mary Roach wrote Stiff, and she also wrote, I like to read about that kind of stuff. I do like biographies. Right now I have Chris Hadfield. Is that how you say his last name? He's the Canadian astronaut. Here's a picture of that. I need to get to this one. I have read a lot of celebrity like biographies when I was a new mom, because I didn't have BookTube like, you know, 15 years ago. I had the Oprah book picks, and I would look like on Target and Barnes & Noble for the new releases, and then look up my buzzwords or my cover buzzwords to see if any of those sounded interesting. But it was really hard to find good stuff, so I would just go to the library and read a bunch of celebrities. And any celebrity that I knew from TV or movies, I would pick up their biography and read it. Yeah. Like right now, I'm reading a whole bunch of nonfiction. Right now, I'm reading nonfiction for my Buzzwordathon. I am currently reading Jesus Interrupted. This is nonfiction. I'm reading George Watsky's essays, nonfiction. I'm reading Race Me in a Lobster Suit by Keely Mahon, nonfiction. This is just Craigslist ads, which is completely strange. And I just started Death's Acre by Dr. Bill Bass and John Jefferson. Again, nonfiction. So I like nonfiction and I read a lot of it, but the majority of my nonfiction has to deal with the macabre. So death, cremation, funeral homes, stuff like that. Number 9, medical or physical conditions of characters. I don't know what this means. I guess I could have rewatched both of the videos to figure out what that meant. As in her original tag, that could be either for fiction or nonfiction. My buzzwords or my check boxes that I usually go for that kind of stuff is like amnesia or sleep, like sleep studies, like some people who can't hit REM sleep, they have hard time with sleeping, they wake up frequently or they sleep too much, the whole amnesia thing. I watched a movie where Mia Jovovich was the main character and she couldn't recognize faces anymore. Face recognition, which is super scary. She was, I think she got hit her head or something and then she couldn't see faces anymore. Those interest me. Any mental health that has to do with like schizophrenia or like bipolar disorder, anything with autism in it. And this can be for fiction or nonfiction. Those are my medical or physical conditions that I typically will pick up if I see a book with those kinds of issues or the words are in the title. Number 10 is time of year or time in history or future that you are drawn to. Anything that has to do with Halloween, I really like because that's my favorite holiday. So Halloween time is great, but if we were talking about like the years, Edwardian time period I really like because they do a lot of etiquette in those books. There's a lot of mannerisms that go with those books set in that time period. Yes, the women and the men were separated a lot, but I like the idea of courting and I like the idea of things going slow and handwriting a letter to somebody that you like or asking permission from the father to date the daughter or to get married. There was not only the typical manners, but then, you know, the men would walk arm in arm with a lady in the park, and it was just like there was so much slowness in that time period when it's written that I wish I was back in time during that time. I also really enjoy the clothing. So when you read those kinds of books, like the books with Jane Austen, like all of her books, they talk about fashion and the long dresses that stopped at the bust and then just kind of fell to the floor. Since I have a short torso, I really enjoy like baby doll dresses because that makes my torso look a little bit longer. If it stops at the waist, it doesn't work on me because then I don't know. It accentuates the fact that my torso is only this big. Like I wish I had a normal sized torso. I have normal sized legs, baby torso, and then so I'm just super short. But yeah, that's the kind of time period that I like. The Parasol Protectorate series is in the Edwardian, I think it's in the Victorian era. I like Edwardian and Victorian. Those two are my favorite to read about because of the mannerisms, etiquette, and fashion. All right, next. There are 2 bonus questions for this tag. The first one is any other bookish boxes or buzzwords not already mentioned. I don't think so. I think I did them all. If I can find a book that's just words, like this. This has nothing. This has no buzzwords on it, but I really like font. So, if we were talking about just the style of the covers that draw me in, I really enjoy simplistic styles. Let's see what else. What else? Color. Color is a big one. I'm drawn to book covers that are purple or pink or blue. Those ones always draw me in. Any other buzzwords? I think I covered everything. And then the last bonus question is, what bookish box or buzzwords turn you away from a book? So if it says anything that in the title that says love in it, I know it sounds so awful. If it's a romance and you can absolutely tell either by the picture on the cover, say there's 2 people kissing, or there is ice cream or sunglasses, anything that's going to be a beach read, anything that is going to be a romantic comedy or a romance novel, I stay clear of. If there is a man on the cover that's just chest and a girl's like at his knees looking up at him, I stay clear of that. I am not interested in reading any kind of romance. I don't want to read any new adult. I tried new adult once and it was gross. I like when the sexual tension in books, when it's almost there. I don't want to actually see the act. You know what I'm saying? I want to visualize it myself. I want it to get there and then go black, if that makes sense. Because I don't want the characters to be tarnished by either the act was bad or cringeworthy or what have you. I would rather imagine what happens. So I don't like new adults just like really there. And a lot of adult romance thrillers are really there. So if it's a romance thriller, even though I like thrillers, I stay clear of romance thrillers because like Karen Rose, her detective was doing it on the stairs, and it's just like, you know, I'm just not interested in that kind of heavy petting and stuff. I don't really want to read about that. Now, if it has to do with vampires, maybe. If it's a vampire romance, because it's more fictional, then yeah. I don't think of like bodily fluids with vampires besides blood. So I think it's the bodily fluids that grosses me out. Am I prude? Am I a prude? I might be one. I'm just like, ew, dirty. I don't want to read about that. So no romance, no contemporary, no literary fiction. If it has an acclaimed sticker that says this is a literary fiction story, or it's on some kind of literary fiction list, I probably won't read it because I consider literary fiction to be snooty, to have these like a criteria that won't meet my standards. Also, haughty-taughty people consider literary fiction to be the only kind of reading that should be done. I read for fun and for pleasure. I don't read to be to learn. I know that sounds really stupid, but I did all my learning in high school and college. I took apart stories, you know, I discussed them with classes and stuff. Now I want to be able to read for fun, and literary fiction is either going to be way over my head, the topics are going to be hard for me to process or digest because it's going to touch things that make me feel uncomfortable. And again, I can see uncomfortable things outside while I'm walking around or in the news, which I try not to watch because it's so romanticized and we get desensitized by all this stuff because it's just flashing on our screens all the time, that I just want to read for fun, to, you know, escape, get away from all the terrible things that are happening. So I don't want to read literary fiction because it's either going to be too smart for me to understand or too sad for me to want to read or too snooty. You get the point. All right, that was the tag. Hopefully it didn't bore you too much. I don't like talking about subscriber counts, but oh my gosh, I've lost like 50 subscribers in the last 2 months. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's probably because I haven't been around for a while. I don't get my feelings hurt or anything because I do this as a hobby, not for monetary reasons. So it's all good, but I am curious. So thank you so much, Keely, for tagging me. That's what it's called, tagging me to do this video. I found it fun. If any of you guys want to do the tag, go ahead and do it. The only person that actually watches my channel that would do a tag video is Penelope. So Penelope, I tag you if you would like to do this this tag as well. And yeah, let me know down below what your answers to these questions would be, and give me any inspiration. Do you have any videos that you would like me to do? I really want to do a Stephen King video, and I think I talked about this in a previous video, that I wanted to like break it down, like all the different kinds of books that he writes and give you kind of like a history about Stephen King, but that's going to take a lot of research. So that's going to have to wait for the summer months when I don't have to go to work. And yeah, just let me know down below anything you want. Let's talk. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for watching.